Welcome viewers to another episode of Media Track at CCR TV. I am Devika Sequeira and with me is my colleague
Ashley Do Rosario.
So we are once again sort of compelled by circumstances to only focus on the coronavirus because as we've seen in the past week, 10 days, things have been getting progressively worse for Goa. We are now at an average, as Ashley and I were just discussing before we recorded this, we are now at an average of 150 to 200 cases per day, and also we see 2 to 3 deaths per day. Today there's already been one. Ashley
in the morning.
me. So Ashley, what I was wondering is, like we just talked about this, every day we see 150 to 200 cases testing positive. Now what happens to the results that don't come out in that day? There are like 5 to 7,000 people being tested, and some results are still pending. So can you explain a bit to us about how that happens?
So basically they do tests between 5,000 to 7,000 tests a day. Okay. Now every test has to be certified by a doctor. Okay. So of course it is done, calibrated on the machine, and everything is done that way. But every individual test has to be certified by a doctor at the virology lab. So that takes time. So what they do is, this is what I presume, I'm not sure of it, they have a sort of a cutoff time in the evening for which they report the number of cases per day. And then there are these 3,000 to 5,000 samples that are pending of that day. So they follow up the numbers to the next day's tally. So this kind of keeps on progressively going to the next day. So we don't exactly
know how many people test positive on that day. Is it because the result of the test takes time? Somebody says it takes up to 4 hours.
It takes, especially for this PCRT test. It takes about 4 to 6 hours for the test
to come. So now what is this thing that the government announced recently, that an antigen testing was going to happen for Goa visitors? Now do they mean only people coming out from out state, or anyone else can go and do it? And there was also a report I read that it is better to have this test. I mean, it's a quicker test and it costs only 2,000 if you do it privately, compared to 4,500 for the other test, that is if you do it in a private lab. And this antigen test will rule out people who are positive, at least, and letting them come into the state. But I presume that even if they're positive, they're still being let into the state. So how does this solve Goa's problem?
Devika, this is something that will be playing out for a long time. Now as far as the antigen test is concerned, it is a test that looks for the antibodies, not for the virus itself. So these tests are to kind of gauge the level of penetration of the virus in the entire mass population. So kind of gives the government or the people handling the COVID situation an idea of what strategies to adopt. Like for example, if they do say tests for the entire of Mormugaon, so they will get a picture of which area is more endemic, which area is less endemic, depending on this antigen test. But they are not reliable tests to say that you are positive or you are negative.
Now there is also a photograph in the papers on that day when they announced that beds have been put up in the Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Indoor Stadium at Bambuli to convert it into a COVID-19 care center if required. Now what kind of people are going to be put in those kind of care centers, and how many of these have been created? Do you have any idea about that?
They have created this one. Earlier they had created about 5 to 6 care centers beyond the COVID hospital in Margaon. One was the MPT hospital in Mormugaon. Another was in Shiroda. The first one was in Shiroda. So they have created 5 or 6. Now they are going for the bigger ones. I think aping the example of Bombay and Delhi. So what they are basically going to do is these asymptomatic cases, people who have no comorbidities, okay, who have no other health problems, will be kept in these care centers. But in Delhi and in Bombay, what they did is, when they created these mass facilities, they did provide that oxygen supply systems in these places. I don't know if these guys are doing it here. Okay, because even in cases where people are asymptomatic and don't have comorbidities, it is not that fatality is totally ruled out in them.
Yes, that's right.
Because there are instances, or there are a lot of cases where oxygen supplies suddenly drop. Okay, the oxygen levels in your blood system suddenly drops, and that's when you need instant oxygen supply to that particular patient. And if you don't have that supply, I mean, it's a question of life and death.
So, looking at the figures today, now you said you have, in the Times of India, they give the figures of, we've crossed 4,866 cases, out of which, 2,541 were recovered.
We have active of about 1,600 odd.
So that all these active cases are in hospital, or are they?
Hospital and care centers.
And care centers. So now the government is saying that asymptomatic patients can opt for home care. Now, what is somebody who is in home care supposed to do? Are they supposed to have the oximeter at home? Are they supposed to keep measuring their oxygen levels? Should they stay away from the rest of the family? Those, those sort of instructions haven't been substantially disseminated, I think, to the public. I myself, as a journalist, haven't the faintest idea what I'm supposed to do if I test positive and I'm at home. What do I do? That's the thing.
Basically, this is something that the government of Goa has completely failed right from the start of this entire pandemic. They are very reactionary in their strategies.
Exactly.
They don't have an expert panel in place that is advising them on a day-to-day basis. Things are left in the hands of, this politician, bureaucrat combination that is handling this whole thing. Now, as far as home quarantine of positive cases is concerned, this is a strategy that is efficiently managed in Bombay and Delhi. Okay, and it has helped them overcome this huge pressure on the hospitals that because of these massive number of cases that they are facing. Okay, so but as you know, Devika, the administration systems in Bombay and Delhi are way much more efficient than we have in Goa.
That's right.
For example,
I just want to make one point to you, Ashley. At this point, this was 3 days ago. It said that 69% of the total confirmed COVID cases came after the lockdown was lifted. So in July, so we've had this huge spurt in the month of July, and this, if you recall, has been brought out by the governor, who ticked off the chief minister,
for not locking down Murmugaon.
For a bad error of judgment, for not locking down Murmugaon, and there was this little media confrontation where he said one thing, the governor said something, and the chief minister claimed that the governor had actually praised him. So can we go back to that event a little bit and explain to us what exactly happened? So
basically, with a wide media coverage of what is going wrong with Goa's answer to COVID pandemic, the governor called for a review meeting with the entire administration and the chief minister, and that was being observed very keenly by the media. And what happened was, after that review meeting, the chief minister emerged out of that meeting in Raj Bhavan, and as usual, began talking to the media people waiting outside, and where he is supposed to have quoted the governor as praising his government's response to COVID-19, and saying something on the lines that it is being projected negatively by the media and social media.
Yeah, so if I'll just read to you the quote, which is quite astonishing, really.
Yeah.
He said he praised our ongoing effort to control the spread of the virus and said that social media, electronic media and print media is presenting the wrong picture. And the governor immediately, you know how the governor is himself such a political figure. He was in Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir before he was sent to Goa. He was not going to take that lying down, and he said it is wrong to say that I blame the media. There was no issue about the media. I have never criticized the press, and he of course used the whole controversy to gain mileage himself. So in the end, how did
how it played out, it was a huge embarrassment to the chief minister.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
his image did take a hit
Yeah.
with all that.
Yeah.
But to grant it to him, he ate the humble pie and did go and visit the governor the very next day.
Okay.
And they came out with some joint statement issued by the office of the governor, which said they will cooperate with each other and fight COVID together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But through all this, Ashley, we are seeing some curious political moves playing out. Of course, one is the speaker who had to respond to the disqualification petition in the Supreme Court, and his reply was that he said that because due to COVID pandemic, his office was not in a position to hear the disqualification petitions since March, and hence sought further time. And there is also the speaker again, where he is set to pass. The government is set to pass the state budget without debate. And so the same people who are sort of taking all the decisions in supposedly keeping us COVID free and safe, etc., the same people are scared to have a session of more than one day. Now, isn't that ridiculous? What do you think about that?
It is ridiculous, but Devika, it's politics at the end of the day. And they will use every situation to their convenience, which is happening not just now but for a long time. As far as the anti-defection law is concerned, the speakers in Goa itself, forget about the rest of the country. We are seeing something playing out in Rajasthan as well.
Yes.
Okay, speakers have consistently been bent towards the ruling party.
Yeah, that's right.
As far as taking decisions on the anti-defection law is concerned.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is also expected to play out in the same way.
Yeah.
I don't see Rajesh Patnekar as such a great speaker to go above party interests.
Yeah.
So having said that, results in anti-defection proceedings have always got delayed.
Yeah.
Okay, and there are times when the people involved have dragged those issues to the courts.
Yes.
And courts had to intervene and give directions to speakers,
Yeah.
which is again a very grey area.
Yeah.
So if, as they say, justice delayed is justice denied, I think this is a problem that every anti-defection legal disqualification proceeding has faced, even in Goa.
Yeah. So, but one very interesting fallout of this, I would think, is a story I saw in your paper, and I think to me it seems more to be a fallout of Savan being ticked off by the governor, and he being a bit shaky right now. So there was this meeting, you all reported it, between Parikar's son, Utpal Parikar, and a former TV BJP MLA, Kiran Khandolkar, who has been raising sort of the banner of revolt. And Parikar's son saying, why shouldn't I meet him, etc. Now, what is the significance of this meeting, do you think?
I don't think it is state level significance.
Yeah.
It's got more to do with little bit of Bardes and Mapsa and TV.
Yeah.
See, Devika, with these 10 Congress MLAs joining the BJP, obviously the BJP set up in the areas that they represent, these 10 MLAs from the Congress represent, are a little bit jerky and a little bit upset For example, let us take Panjim for instance.
Yes.
As it is, the BJP had two contenders.
Yeah.
You had Siddharth and you had Utpal.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Babush has come into the Congress.
Yeah.
So where does that put Utpal and Siddharth?
Yeah.
So obviously these guys are trying to needle the chief minister a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
And in Mapsa, again Kiran Kandolkar, who was an MLA in TV,
Yeah.
is facing a problem because Nilkant has joined the BJP.
Yes. So these are basically revolts within the party, but I think it has some significance. I wouldn't dismiss it. To my mind, it is the first time that you're seeing a kind of insider actually bringing out his angst and his opposition and his whatever this he has so openly. You never saw this in the BJP before under Parrikar. I mean, they were so scared of him that they wouldn't dare bring it out. So obviously, I think that Sawant is quite a weak chief minister, and that there are a lot of these little power struggles going on within the party right now.
That was bound to happen with the passing away of Manohar Parrikar, because you had Manohar Parrikar towering over the BJP for as long as it existed in Goa on the political map. So once he was out of the equation, obviously the leadership would be falling short in that sense. And I don't think the leadership issue in Goa for the BJP is settled.
Not in the least. I would say not in the least.
So it's going to play out. I think we had this same problem eating into the Congress.
Oh, that was a perennial problem in the Congress. When was it not there?
Yeah. So except when before statehood, before the 90s, when Rane was leading the Congress, or at least the Congress government, we didn't have these kind of problems. But once that PDF experiment started in 1990, we had these leadership problems perennially in Goa.
Yeah. But then, Ashley, so is this an experiment, if you ask me, taking 10 Congress MLAs in such a huge lot, and then you had another 5 who joined before that, Vishwajit and Shirodkar and Sopte, I don't recall. He too joined before. So I would think there are more Congress people in the current BJP than there are BJP people.
Yeah.
So that makes for a kind of rather a soup that is a bit too mixed up.
But I think it was killing for the BJP. It was killing two birds in one shot. For the simple reason that I don't think Sawant was comfortable with the previous coalition of Vijay Sardesai's Goa Forward Party on one side. You had Daulikar's MGP on the other side. So these guys had grown in stature in their 2 years in the Parrikar government. And I don't think Sawant was comfortable handling that. So this whole experiment of getting 10 new Congress faces into the government and kind of elbowing out these
the loyalists. They've elbowed out the they've elbowed out the
coalition allies,
and their loyalists have been elbowed out, and that's not a very comfortable position to be in, if you ask me.
But then they were loyalists that were junior in a way. Okay.
No, I'm talking of all the loyalists like Parsekar and Arlekar, and then you have even if you look at it, even Parrikar's son is a loyalist. I mean, he belongs to the camp, the RSS, though his father made sure that they were not in politics. But in that sense, they do have a claim to.
But that will come into the picture. See, as far as running the government is concerned, these guys don't come into the equation. In the end, it is a number game.
In the end, it is who wins the constituency.
Exactly.
And that will be proved 2 years from now,
so it will be interesting to watch this shadow boxing at the time as elections approach.
Right.
Okay, because I think the BJP will have a problem with Panjim. For sure. Because you have Babush there. Unless Babush does yet another eve of the election jump out of the BJP, which is known to do. Okay, so the BJP will have a problem with Panjim. BJP will have a problem with TV. So Kandolkar sees that problem coming up in the election time, and is making his moves now itself.
Yeah, but there is a little more to it than that. You know, if you notice, you had Vishwajit going to meet
Dawlikar.
No, not only Dawlikar. He met
Rohan Kaunte also, I think.
No, the Goa Forward leader Vijay Sardesai. He went to meet him. Then I think Vishwajit had quite a bit of a row with Glenn Ticklow recently over who actually runs the industries department, because they've been at loggerheads. So there is a lot of churning going on in the current BJP.
Yeah, but the numbers are a problem. No, numbers
are a problem, obviously.
For the other side. So that's what, with this whole defection of 10 MLAs, that is what I was talking of, two birds in one stroke. He's got rid of these problematic big leaders, and at the same time he's got safe numbers. So if the other side wants to do anything, they need something like 18 MLAs to change sides, which is next to impossible.
So now we move to this other story that has been doing the rounds. That is, the mining story is currently in the Supreme Court, and you had yesterday the Solicitor General told the Supreme Court that resumption of mining. I mean, he was representing the Goa government. The resumption of mining is crucial for Goa. And there are a host of cases. There is the one put by some challenge put by I think
Vedanta.
Yeah. Then you have another party, D'Souza. There are many cases clubbed together. And also you had this other story playing out, which was the Goa Mining People's Front openly criticizing Dr. Claude Alvarez and claiming that, who is behind Claude and who is financing him. They claim that the stopping mining has affected 3 lakh people and who are dependent on it. So, iron ore rich foreign countries like Australia are indulging to conspire against Goa, and they even sort of allege some kind of connection between Goa Foundation and some financiers from Australia.
The question is, Goa's iron ore mining industry is not a threat to mining industry anywhere in the world.
Exactly.
Because the ore in Goa is so low grade.
Yes.
So I don't think Australia sees Goa as a threat. For to insinuate that Australia is conniving to see that Goa's mining industry does not revive. But Devika, the issues in court. There are 2 separate issues in court.
That's right.
One is a review petition that the Goa government has filed.
Yes.
Hoping that something will come out of it. Kind of asking the Supreme Court to review its earlier February 2018 order, which cancelled all those 88 mining leases that were renewed. Okay, so they kind of have found a loophole in the law, which they hope the Supreme Court will latch on to reverse its 2018 order. That is one. And the other petition is of these mining companies, which I think a consortium led by Vedanta and Chokles and the others, where they are trying to portray Goa as a separate entity as far as the law is concerned. They are trying to say that mining in Goa was initiated during the Portuguese time, so we had that Portuguese law. So based on that law, the validity of the mining leases should be of 50 years from 1987, so that they remain valid till to 2037. So that is the argument that is on which these petitions are based. So there are 2 different issues, and I don't know, the Supreme Court has been so inconsistent of recent times.
Yes, that's right.
Especially when it comes to the economy, when the government side raises this issue of economy is in trouble, so we need to kind of dilute
So you think that the Supreme Court might actually look favorably on the Goa government's claim and the claim of the mining companies that forget the past,
I don't rule it out.
All the wrong they've done, all the scams they've been involved in. What we need now is to get some source of earnings and investment.
I don't rule it out, but then again, the Supreme Court will have to do a trapeze act, because they will kind of accept this situation of two laws in the nation, one for Goa and one for the rest of the country. Because the MMDR Act very clearly says that mineral resources are to be auctioned.
Yeah, but that would mean changing a lot of the rules, and bringing Goa under the MMDR.
The rules are there.
Yeah.
The rules are there. You don't have to make fresh rules. Only thing is you have to say that these are also applicable to mining in Goa.
Okay.
That's it.
So we've run out of time, and thank you for watching. Do join us next week too. Goodbye.